Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and for this week's video, I thought we could talk about the books that I read in April. So this month was really good. Overall, I had a really good month, and so I want to talk to you guys about all the books that I read and give you guys some recommendations. In the little corner right here or right here, I'm going to have my rating, the genre, the title, the author, and the spice. So you guys can get all the info, and if you're interested in reading it, you guys can look up the books as well. So let's get started. Starting off this month strong, we have Hello Stranger by Catherine Sender. I rated this book a 5 stars. This book was so good. So in this one, we were following Sadie, and Sadie gets into kind of this freak accident in the very beginning of the book that makes her lose the ability to recognize faces. So she'll see people, she'll see like their eyes, and she'll see their mouths, and she'll see their body, but like she can't put everything together. It's like a bunch of puzzle pieces that are all mixed up. And so the doctor says, like, oh, it'll be resolved by like 6 weeks, but she has to paint a portrait because she is an artist, and because she lost her ability to like paint faces, she can't do her job anymore. And so we're kind of following her through that. And in her little adventures of her figuring out what's happening, she meets Joe. And it's just kind of like their love story. But I feel like there's so much more to this book because there's also kind of a mystery that you're kind of figuring out, like, wait, who is who? I'm so confused. Like, why are there these two people that she knows, but they're like kind of weirdly distant? And then it's like, I don't know, it's really interesting, and I loved putting together all of the pieces at the end. Um, Overall, this book was just so cute. I loved Sadie, and I have a hard time with like main female characters sometimes, but I loved her. She was hilarious. She was really like fun to follow. And also, I loved the way that she learned a lot about her new condition and that we got to learn with her. It wasn't this kind of like information overload or information dump. It was more like we slowly learned with her in a really understandable and comprehensible way. And yeah, it was cool to learn about it because it is like a real condition. And so yeah, that was super interesting. I love Joe. He's so funny, he's so cute. Overall, this book was just really cute. It was very lighthearted, and I would say that it also had like some really good deep quotes. Like at the end, I was just like, I loved the end, and I actually highlighted the last line. This isn't a spoiler at all. The last line is, the more good things you look for, the more you find. And it's just like, it's so cute how it's like the only highlighted line right there. And it's just like, it's such a sweet message that you get out of the end of the book. And yeah, overall, highly recommend this one. The next book I read is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. So this one was actually really good too. I rated it a 4 stars. This is the sequel to the Scythe series that I started not a long time ago. And in this world, I feel like I've done this explanation so many times because I talk about this series so much, but basically humans have defeated the death. Basically, humans don't die anymore because they've studied so many things, like you don't die of old age, like cancer's eradicated, and the only way you truly die is either by fire, which never happens because they've like made all of the precautions to make fire literally one of the like least likely things to happen ever. And they have certain people called scythes that go around for population control, and they're in charge of basically people to control the population to make sure that there aren't too many people in this world, because the earth has a limited amount of space, and if no one's dying but people keep reproducing, like how's that going to work? And so we're basically in this world, and we're following Citra and Rowan, and they are both apprentices to a scythe. And that's basically the whole plot line of the first book called Scythe. And then this is the sequel to this book. There's actually a third book, and then there is a like little book of novellas. And so I'm probably going to start the third book soon. But overall, this book was really good. As I said, I rated it 4 stars. The character depth in this book was insane. First book was very much plot centered. This one was, I feel like, a little more character depth. Like you get to know the characters so much more. You get to know their motives. You get to know why they do the certain things that they do. We also get a new perspective of the Thunderhead, which is hard to explain if you guys haven't read the first book, but it's basically the being that controls everything and all of the minds of everyone, and it just like it's like AI but like better. I don't know. It's you get it if you read the book, but this was really cool. I loved getting that perspective. I loved Citra and Rowan. I really, really, really hate Goddard or Goddard. I don't know how you say his name, but he's basically like the main villain, sort of. And I despise him. He's a terrible human being. Anyways, this was really good. The ending has my jaw on the floor, like insane. I read this in a reading vlog, and you guys saw my reaction to the end. Like, I need to pick up the next book ASAP. That's what I need to do. Next one, surprise, surprise, is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This one was a 6-star read for me. I have watched so many reviews of people talking about this book because it was extremely hyped. This series is extremely well known, and I think a lot of people were talking about how they didn't like how one of the characters' end happened. They didn't love how the relationship between Kai and Peyton was sort of repetitive. But personally, I just had a lot of fun with this. I didn't really overthink it. I was just like reading to have fun, and I was just reading. I wasn't trying to pick out things that I didn't like, because this is definitely not a perfect series, but in my heart, it's perfect. In my soul and in I don't know how to explain this, but this was 6 stars. The plot was phenomenal. If you guys haven't heard of the Powerless series, we're following Kai and Peyton. And Peyton is an ordinary, which means she has no powers. And Kai is the enforcer, and he's one of the princes. And he is basically, he's has a really special and powerful power, basically. But we are in this world with ordinaries and elites, and Peyton has to go into these trials that are made for elites, people with power, but she doesn't have power, but no one knows that she doesn't have a power. We're basically following her through that and through her relationship with Kai. And this book is just, it's my Roman Empire. It's my Roman Empire. I don't really have anything else to say. 6 stars. I loved it. It was genuinely like, I still think about this book daily. Like, just the depth, the characters, and like, I just really liked the ending. Like, personally, I thought this was a perfect end to the trilogy. Like, I couldn't ask for anything better and anything more. So Lauren Roberts, slay, go you. Anyways, I highly recommend that you guys read this series. If I haven't raved about it enough, you guys know I love this, but honestly, make your own opinion on it. I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. I just had so much fun. I didn't go in expecting the most phenomenal deep story ever. I just came in expecting to have fun, and that's what happened for me. So, I loved it. And our next book is Flawless by L.T. Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Spring series, which is a really fun, like, small town cowboy romance series. And in this one, we're following Rhett, who is a bull rider, and Summer Hamilton, who is Rhett's agent's daughter, basically. And Rhett has been acting up. He's been messing up his reputation. And so his agent is like, I'm going to send my daughter with you because you need a babysitter, because you need help right now. And basically he's like, I don't need a babysitter, and but she shows up anyways, and then it's like forced proximity almost, because like she doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to be here, but then also she kind of wants to be here. Anyways, you guys know what I mean. This was really cute. I rated it at 3.5. Like, it was nothing like phenomenal, but it was such a fun time. I read it in like one day. um Overall, like, Rhett is, he's a nice guy. He's good. He's a good MMC. And then Summer was good too. I found her a little bit irritating sometimes, but it wasn't like to the point where I wanted to stop reading or I wasn't enjoying the book. Overall, this was just really cute. The found family, I just know is going to be amazing. I read the second book, which I will talk about. Actually, I can just talk about it now. So I actually read the second book this month as well, and this one was a 5 stars. Just because I loved Cade. Cade is like a grumpy single dad, and then he needs a babysitter for the summer, or a nanny for the summer, and that is where Willa comes in. And I just love them. I just love them. It was 5 stars. There were so many moments in this book where I was just like, jaw on the floor, jaw on the floor. So highly recommend the second book as well. Highly recommend the series so far. I bought the I bought the other 3 books already, because I just know that this is going to be a really good series for me. and it's going to give like the best summer vibes to read this summer, so I'm excited to read it. Overall, this was really cute. It is definitely spicy though. It's on the spicier side. So if that's not really your thing, it is definitely skippable because that's what I did. I looked up on Instagram like spice chapters to know when I should skip. Just so you guys know, for your information. And yeah, so those were really cute, really fun, found family, cowboy romance, just very lighthearted, quick reads. And then I read First Time Caller by BK Borison. This one I listened to on audiobook, so I don't have the physical copy, but this one was really cute. I rated it a 3.75 stars. And this one we are following Lucy and Aiden. Aiden is a radio host. Ooh, excuse me, camera change. But Aiden is a radio host, and he's the radio host for this show that kind of like goes through helping people with like love and their issues with their significant others, or people call in like, how can I find a date or whatever. But because he is on this radio show and he hosts it, he hears everyone's problems with love, and so he started to lose his interest and his love for love, and he's like, I don't really believe in love anymore. And then Lucy's daughter, so Lucy's a single mom, Lucy's daughter calls the radio and she's like, hey, so like I feel like my mom is kind of lonely, like can you help her? And so then the turn events happen, things happen, and so Lucy ends up on the show with Aiden, and he helps her find a date, but then things happen and she goes on these dates, but then Aiden's like, wait, I like low-key like her, and like all that complicated stuff. And so they just have to deal with that. They have to find what to do. Is she going to end up with one of her dates? Is she going to end up with Aiden? Who knows? But overall, this was really cute. I really liked Lucy's character. I thought she was really funny. Aiden was not my favorite, I would say, because he seemed a little like standoffish and not very like sacrificial for Lucy. Lucy was the type of mom to do everything for other people and never do things for herself. So I guess I kind of expected Aiden to be that for her and to be the one to do everything and be there for her, but he wasn't there as much as I thought he would be, in if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. But overall, this was cute, very cute palette cleanser. Recommend if you just want like a fun, gives like Valentine's Day vibes almost, and you just want to read something that's like just easy, fast paced. Next, we have another Catherine Center book. I read The Bodyguard. In this one, we are following Hannah and Jack. And Hannah is a bodyguard. She works for this agency where her job is to be a bodyguard for very, very high profile people, but she doesn't look like a bodyguard. She, in the back of the book, it says, Hannah Brooks looks more like a kindergarten teacher than somebody who could kill you with a wine bottle opener. And so basically, it's like her job to not look like she's a bodyguard so that she can blend in and just act however the person that she's protecting wants her to act. So she's acted like a nanny or whatever to protect this said person, if that makes sense. And so Jack Stapleton hires her, and with a turn of events, he needs to go visit his family, but he doesn't want his family to know that he needs a bodyguard because he doesn't want his mom to get worried. And so he's like, so actually, can you act like you're my girlfriend so that my mom doesn't get worried? And so basically she has to go on this trip with him back to his parents' house, and she has to pretend that she is his girlfriend instead of his bodyguard. And overall, I really liked this book. I thought it was very like, it wasn't a standard like plot line or standard plot points. Like usually you don't get that the girl is a bodyguard, or you don't get that the girl has to stand in as something else. And so that was really interesting for me. I loved like the chemistry that they had. I really loved Jack. I thought he was really down to earth for being a celebrity. And overall, just like they had really good chemistry. And I loved also like the found family aspect of it too. There were a lot of characters in this book that annoyed me, but they were written to be annoying, which makes sense. And at the end, I think one thing that kind of disappointed me a little bit was that there was a big like grief plot line, sort of. Both of them had things dealing with grief, and it sort of felt like it wrapped up like this, like they fell in love, and then she like wrote one paragraph like, oh, and Hannah got over her grief and now she's healed because she's with Jack. And so it felt very like, put a bow on it and it's fine, but it's not really wrapped. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. It just felt like she could have added a little bit more to close up the grief portion of this book, just to make it more closed and feel like a actual story and closed story. And I don't know if that makes sense, but you know what I mean. So overall, this was very cute, very lighthearted. Highly recommend. 4 stars. Yay. This month I also ended up finishing the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I read The Ballad of Never After and The Curse for True Love, and I loved both of these. Those were so good. I rated both of them 4 stars. They were just the most whimsical fairy tale like books. Like, I was so immersed whenever I was reading them. And we're still following Jax and Evangeline through their adventures. I don't really know how to describe these books just because it is such a unique storyline. But just think Alice in Wonderland fairy tale, curses and blessings and princesses and balls and curses, and I already said that, and all of that. Very cute, very whimsical, very fairy tale. And overall, this was a really fun story. Very quick read for me. I wasn't expecting to get through these as quick as I did, and it had a really good closure. I loved how this book ended. I just felt like all of the different plot lines connected really well, and you understood, your questions got answered. And I recommend this series as well if you want a fun, cute little whimsical read for this summer or for fall or winter or spring or any time you want to read this. I then also finished up the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is the 4th book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series called Wild and Wrangled. And in this one, we are following Camille and Dusty. And so basically, this whole series is another like very cute small town romance vibes. Found family. Think if you've read Chestnut Springs, which is the other series that I'm in the middle of right now. One sec. Which is the other series that I'm in the middle of right now that I just talked about. Very fun, very quick read, I thought. This was really cute. Camille was basically engaged and she's on her wedding day. This is the first chapter, and she finds out that the wedding isn't happening because some reason or another, you guys are gonna have to find out. And so she's like, she has no wedding. She planned this wedding for months and she's just like lost. She's like, what am I doing now? And then Dusty, her high school lover and boyfriend, is still living in the same town that she ends up in after the wedding. And so they rekindle, and it's basically just kind of like their love story or second chance love story. If you love second chance, you'll love this one. Overall, this was cute. This was fun. I liked it. The first 50% I loved. I thought this was going to be like a 6-star read and everything. But then at the end, the third act conflict that usually happens in romances just did not make sense to me. It just made the biggest deal out of nothing. Like, Dusty was just trying to be kind and do something for her because he loves her so much, and she took it the wrong way and she just got so mad at him for no reason. And I was just like, why? Like, he was just being kind to you. Why? Like, please be so for real. So that kind of annoyed me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and so that's why the rating got down so much. I rated it, I think, I can remember, either a 3.5 or 3.75. You'll see on the screen, but overall, this was just like, dang it. Like, it was so good in the beginning, and then it kind of went downhill after that, and I was like, kind of icked out. I'm not gonna lie. So that was Wild and Wrangled. Very cute, but not my favorite ending. And last but certainly not least, I finished this month off with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I rated this book a 3 stars. This was very cozy, I would say. It was super, super laid back. It was almost like just reading an encyclopedia. It was just like very much reading this woman's journal, because this is what it is. Basically, we're following Emily, who goes on a trip to research fairies, and she's working on an encyclopedia of fairies, basically. And so this book is basically her journal entry of what's happening in her daily life as she's researching these fairies. And her academic rival Wendell arrives on the scene, and she's like, why is he here? I don't want him to be here. And then she makes all these discoveries, and she starts needing him for her discoveries, and then they go on a bunch of fun little adventures together. And overall, I liked this book. I think it was really cozy, it was really fun, but I do think I would have enjoyed it better if I had read it maybe in the fall or winter, because I did read this like when it was like bright sunshine outside and I was in the mood for something pretty a little more fast paced. So on that's kind of on me for picking up this book because I knew it was going to be kind of more cozier and less plot driven as some of the other books that I read, but I did really enjoy this. I think it was really fun. It was sweet. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the next book. I might if someone convinces me to pick up the next books, but I thought it was fun and it was cozy, and I just wish I had read it like at a cozier time, like on a chair in the rain with some tea instead of in the sunshine tanning. It was very cute, very cozy. And so overall, as you guys can tell, this was a really good reading month for me. I loved most of the books, basically all of the books. Just some books had just some tiny little things I didn't love as much, but overall, April was a fabulous reading month, and I'm so happy that I read all of the books that I did. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for listening to me talk about books for like 20 minutes straight. And I hope you guys enjoyed it and that you guys come back for the next video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.